What's up? What going on? It's your man Don't Play Trent, checking in live from the lab, back at it again with another quick video. So this video I'm gonna keep it short, simple, and sweet, and we're gonna get straight to the point. One of the first things you need to learn when it comes to trading the Forex market or any markets, period, from cryptos to stocks to bonds to options, you need to learn support and resistance. So stay tuned. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I mark up my charts and how you can mark up your charts from trading any instrument across the board. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. Now, if you guys been following me, I usually trade UJ. UJ is one of my favorite pairs. But today, for this video only, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up a pair that I don't even trade, just to show you guys that you can trade, or you guys can find support and resistance across any instrument using the way I look up my support and resistance. Well, using the way I mark up my chart. So today I'm going to be marking up GA, GBP AUD. And the first thing you want to do is you want to remove all indicators. So whenever you are looking for support or resistance, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a clear blank screen. So let's remove all of the indicators, all of our markings, and we're going to have the screen completely blank. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to start from the higher time frames and then work your way down. Some people like to refer to this as top-down analysis. So I usually like to start at the weekly chart. Every now and again, I will check the monthly chart if I'm near a major monthly level. But majority of the time, 80-90% of the time, I'm going to start on the weekly chart and then I'm going to work my way down. So the first thing I do is when I'm looking for support and resistance, I start from the weekly and I start to identify my key levels. So first thing I notice is we have a level right here. Why is this a level? Because price reversed and shot down right at this level for this looks like over 1,000 pips, right? So I'm going to mark this up on my weekly time frame. I'm going to get on the open because this is where the sellers started to sell from. So when the sellers came in, they came in here, and I am very detailed because details matter when trading. You want to get precisely on the entry or exit. So I'm going to get, by the pip, I'm going to get right on this level unless I'm near a major quarter point. So right here, if you look right here on the side, I'm at 1.98905. I'm going to put this at a quarter point, which would be 1.98900. Now, if you wanted to be a little bit more detailed, because you can see if I started to scroll up, I'm about a pip or two off. So 902 is the exact price where the sellers came in and started to sell from. So I'm going to mark this line as my weekly resistance because this is a resistance zone or resistance area because this is the ceiling where the sellers came in. I'm going to make sure it's color coordinated, and I'm going to mark the time frame that I found this on. This helps tremendously when you start to get on your lower time frames because you don't get lost as far as where you are on the higher time frames, as far as where its price is. The higher the time frame, the stronger the analysis. So we found our weekly resistance. And whenever you're finding support or resistance, you always want to go back in time to see where price consolidated or hesitated at or shot up from back in time, because usually, more than likely, price is going to try to work its way back to that area. That's what price feels comfortable at, right? So found our weekly resistance, and usually on the higher time frames, we only need one of each. We need a resistance and a support zone. So we found our weekly resistance. Now it's time to find our weekly support. So I'm going to go to the last place that the buyers came in and really pushed the market. Right here is where the sellers came in and push the market down. If I go right here in this area, I would consider this area to be a weekly support because buyers came in and pushed the market up. We can see about 700, almost 800 pips since the buyers came in at this price. So let's go ahead and mark that up. We're going to get directly on the open of these candles by the pip. We're going to be very detailed, and we're going to try to get to the nearest quarter point. So quarter point, you guys don't know what quarter points is, please leave in the comment section. I can make a totally separate video about the quarter point theory and why it's so important to respect the quarter point theory, because at the end of the day in the Forex market, we're trading money. So majority of the times the institutions and the banks, they like to trade from whole dollars or the 25 cent, 50, 75, whatever the case is. But majority of the time, you want to try to get in at a whole number or even a quarter point, 25, 50, 75. And we have our nearest quarter point will be 725, but it's not quite on the open. You can see it's a few pips off. So let's go ahead and raise it to get on the open of that candle. And let's just go ahead and make that 50. It's about a pip or two off, but I would rather be at the quarter point instead. So the quarter point, the exact price is 1.86750, and I'm going to label this as a support zone on my weekly chart. And it's also color coordinated. Green is for buy, red is for sell. Now you can color coordinate yours however you want, but this just helps me when I'm on the lower time frames, the 15, the 5, or the 30-minute chart. This helps me know where I'm at on the higher time frame. So once, let's just say hypothetically, price comes back in this area, I know that on the higher time frames, higher the time frame, the stronger the analysis, that buyers showed up in this area at this exact price point. And you'll be surprised on how good your entry or how precise your entry would be following this rule. So we have now found one weekly resistance, one weekly support. The next thing I want to do is drop down to my daily time frame. Daily time, one time frame under. And I'm going to do the same exact thing on my daily time frame. I'm going to look for one daily resistance and one daily support. So let's start where where the last place price reacted as far as the resistance level. So if I'm looking in this area, I see that there's a potential wall right here being made. We have a couple touches here, and price also comes back up into this area and starts to hesitate again. And if we even go back further, this major candle here broke through this level with an extreme seller bearish candle, letting me know that in this area there's a lot of movement or a lot of price action happening in this area. So me personally, what I would like to do is I'm going to find the last place price opened at where the sellers got in and started to drive the market down. I'm looking for my resistance level. And if I had to if I had to choose an area, it's going to line up here because price bounced from our weekly support, came up here, started to hesitate. So I need to mark this as a daily resistance because price started to come here and then price started to sell. Also, price touched in this area and started to sell back in the past and even further back in the past. Back on September 14th, 2023, price made a nice bearish candle breaking through this level, letting me know that this level here is important. So let's go ahead and mark it up. I'm going to let's delete this so you guys can see a little better. I'm going to get on the open of this candle because this is where the sellers started to sell. Price was buying all the way up into here. Once this price opened, wicked up and then closed bearish, and price hasn't passed this area since. So let's find the nearest quarter point. Also try to get on the exact price point where this candle opened at, right here. And let's say the nearest quarter point will be the 25. Now, you can go with the exact price point where price opened up at, which will be a couple pips off at the 30. You can't leave it there. Sometimes I'm very detailed and very tedious where I would leave it here, but for this purposes only, I want you guys to try just the quarter points, the nearest quarter points. So I'm going to go with the nearest quarter points will be the 25. Then I'm going to label this as a daily resistance because I found this on the daily chart. And then I'm also going to color coordinate this red. Now, me, I already have mine's preset, but you guys, when you guys are starting to find your support and resistance, try to make templates like I have here. All of my templates is already saved. That way you don't have to keep changing them or keep labeling them every time. You know, once you first do it, go ahead and hit save as, whatever it is, daily resistance, daily support, whatever the case is. Make sure the text is in and make sure it's color coordinated. So we found our daily resistance. Now I want to also look for one daily support. I'm looking for a daily resistance and a daily support, one of each, on the weekly time frame and also on my daily time frame. Being that we've already found our our daily resistance, let's go ahead and see if we can find a daily support. Now, not all the time you're going to be able to find a daily support. So in some cases, it may be too close to our weekly support to where it's not needed. You want to kind of have your zones, which I'll talk about in a second, but you want to kind of have your zones about 150 to 200 pips away from each other. Anything under 150, 100 pips or so, you kind of want to just leave it running or let price run to the next major level. Because when we're trading from level to level, essentially. That's all we're doing. We're getting in at the best price point, and then we're trading to the next level. And me, I'm a day trader, so I'm trying to catch, the daily move. So I like to have my zones about 150 to 250 pips, depending on the pair. That's also very important. Every pair does not move the same. You have some pairs that move slower, some pairs that move faster. So depending on the pair, I like to have mine between 150 to 200 pips. So right now I'm looking for a daily support. And if I go back in the past, I start to see that price made some type of support area in this level. Now, why? We have a bounce here. Price came down here, bounced up. Price came back down here, bounced up. Price came back in this area, hesitated, and then eventually dropped. Price came over here again, hesitated, as you can see, these smaller candles, and then it started to take off. So let's find the median. Let's try to get in the middle of the best price point here in this area to make this a daily support area. So let's remove this yellow box, and I'm going to say back here in this area. Why am I choosing this area? Because I have two nice support, looks like a double bottom that was made here in this area, and it's also near a quarter point, which will be the 50. So 1.89650. But it looks to be a little off. The 50 looks to be a little off. You can see it's a nice little gap between here. So I'm going to now go to the next nearest quarter point, which will be the 75. So let's go ahead and raise it up 25 pips or so, which is not perfect. We're going to label this a daily support. It's not perfect right on the money, but like I said, we want to try to get in the middle. In the middle. As long as we know that this area is a potential buy zone, support zone, because in the past, the daily time frame, I'm not going to say people, but the market started to move up in this area. So we label this as a daily support. And let's check our levels. It's 300 pips. So from major time frame to major time frame, this is nice and good. 300 pips and about 340 pips. So this is kind of what you want to look for. Like I said, between 150 to 200 pips per zone. But we are not done yet. So now that we have, let's scroll out. We have a daily support. We have a daily resistance. We have a weekly resistance and a weekly support. Now, you are not done yet. Now, you want to drop down to your 4 hour zone. Your 4 hour time frame. And you want to do the same exact thing on the 4 hour time frame. So on the 4 hour time frame, what I'm looking for is slow down areas or potential take profit areas or even add entry areas. Because initially, price is trading from higher time frame to higher time frame, from weekly support to weekly resistance, right? On the longer time frame, the longer scale. But price doesn't just fly up there. Price makes its way up there. So we need to find our slowdown areas or potential adding entry areas in the middle. So this is why we're going to jump on a 4 hour time frame. And we're going to also see if we can identify support or resistance by looking in the past. So what I like to do, if I'm looking at this chart here, I can see that there's a bit of a support level happened in this area. You see price dropped down in this area and then shot back up. Over here, price jumped up, started to hesitate, and then started to buy again from this area. You can see the candles. Just look at the candles. This candle, look at price action. Price initially jumped up here with a nice bullish candle, hesitated for a couple days because each candle is 4 hours. So it hesitated for at least a day or two, and then price started to pump up again. So what I like to do is I'm going to get on the open of this candle here because this is where the move initiated from. This is where the move happened from. Also, back here, price also pushed up in this area, but you can see it's not on the exact price point. The reason why I'm not going to put it here, the reason why I'm not going to look for the exact price point here, because this is the last place that price pushed up from. This is back in December 13, 2023, and this is January 4th of this year, 2024, right? So I'm going to go the last place that price reacted from, or the most recent move. So let's see if I can find the nearest quarter point in this area. Let's see here. Let's make sure it's on the exact price point. So I scroll up. I'm still about a few pips. Nice little gap right there. So let's try to close that gap and get right on the open of these candles. And let's do the 25 is the nearest quarter point. Now, if you're very tedious, there's nothing wrong with putting it on the 20 to get on the exact price point of the open of the candle. But like I said, for this video, I'm going to do the 25. Now, usually when I'm trading, I like to be right on the candle's ass. So I'm going to usually put it right on the 20 because this is where price action showed me that price opened at and started to push up. But let's leave it at the 25. And then I'm going to make this I call these my 4 hour zones. And these are also color coordinated yellow, letting me know that I'm at a potential slowdown area. So if I'm currently in a trade, let's just say I bought down here, right? Once price reaches this yellow area, it's letting me know two things. I need to either take some profit here, or I can potentially add another entry here to continue in the trend. So hypothetically speaking, let's pull the replay button out. If I got into an entry here and I'm currently in an uptrend, obviously if I'm in an uptrend, I'm looking for buys because I want to, go along with the trend. Trend is your friend. I will potentially look to take some profit here and possibly wait on a breakout or even a retest to then get back in for another buy to go up to the next level. But let's delete the replay option. But this is just me hypothetically speaking. If I was currently in an active trade, this is how I would be looking at the markets. So now you can look for 4 hour zones, and this goes back to like this area here is 118 pips, which I would keep this here because from this level to this level it's 300. I like to have a nice little slowdown area. So even 100 pips is fine. Like I said, depending on the pair. I don't even trade this pair, right? But depending on the pair, between 100, 150, 200 pips, you want to be from each zone because I'm trading from level to level. I'm probably getting in here and then getting out here, getting in here, getting out here. That's the way I trade, right? And I'm also going to find, see, like from this level, this is about a 400 pip move that I need to find a slowdown area because this is too big of a gap. This is too big of a gap for me. So I need to find a slowdown area. This could take days. See, this move happened on January the 8th, and it didn't get up here until January the 17th. So if I'm not a swing trader, right, I'm not going to be waiting damn near a week, almost 2 weeks for price to get up here. So let's find another slowdown area. And we're looking for some type of hesitation, consolidation in these areas. And if I had to guess, it would be somewhere in this area. I want to look for where price touches or plays at the most. So if I go all the way back in the past, we have a nice drop here. So that's something to pay attention to. We also got a nice little price played in this area for quite some time, and then price finally decided to shoot down. Also over here, price played in this area and then started to shoot up. So this area here, I need to get in the middle, in the median of this area, because we have some nice movement or nice direction that price left. Price was in this area, hesitated for a minute, and then it shot down, letting me know that in this area, there was a lot of indecision in this area. Price didn't basically know where to go. So let's delete these and let's look for our median. Let's look for our 4 hour zone. And I'm going to start with the most recent price action, the most recent price movement. So if I had to guess, not guess, but if I had to place a 4 hour zone, I would probably place it in this area because the initial movement in this area was here. So let's look for the nearest quarter point that lines up with this area, and that'll be the 75, 1.91675, and then I'm going to label this as a 4 hour zone. And it looks to me like price is probably about a pip or two off. You can see price is about a pip or two off, but nothing's wrong with that. Like I said, these are just slowdown areas. And then also look at my gap. My gap is now filled where this is a 200 pip zone to zone. This is a 200 pip zone to zone. Decent. That's kind of what you want to look for. And this is about 180. So this is basically what you want to see. Like I said, anywhere from, but let's just say 100 pip to 200 pips per zone to zone, 100 pips to 200 pips, depending on the pair that you trade. So not all pairs move fast, not all pairs move the same. So depending on the pair you trade, me personally, I'm looking for the 150 is my sweet spot, but I can take a 200 pip gap move. Like I can take this all day. This is about a 200 pip move. I'll take that all day. Because if I was to get in here, this is a 200 pip move that I'm looking for. So this could happen. Let's say I would have got in down here on Wednesday the 10th, and 6 days later, on Tuesday the 16th, I've gotten a 200 pip move. So that's a decent price action movement for me and the way that I trade. So let's recap. We now have a weekly support. Scroll out a little bit. We have a weekly support down here, a weekly resistance up here. We have a daily support down here, daily resistance up here. And we have a 4 hour zone here, a 4 hour zone here. And I would also want to find a 4 hour zone up here because this, for me, is too big of a gap, right? This is a 530 something pip move. So I want to find me another 4-hour zone in this area. I'm going to look for where price hesitated in the most recent price action. If I had to guess, I don't know why I keep saying guess, but if I had to pick an area, it's going to be here because the most recent price swing, price came up here and then price shot down. So I'm going to put it, it's already, look, I got it right on the money. It's already at the quarter point at 1.97275. So I'm not going to label this as a 4-hour zone. And this is 160 pip move from this zone to this zone. This is about a 300. And if you're uncomfortable with that, me, sometimes I would take it, but in this instance, I'm going to find another 4-hour zone just to be on the safe side. And I'll probably find one here because I'm looking in the past and I can see all of this price action movement here. So this is why I'm going to find another 4-hour zone here. So let's delete this box here and get to the nearest quarter point, which will be the 75. Label this 4-hour zone. Bam. So now if I go ahead and zoom out, let's get back on our daily. Whenever I'm trading, whenever I'm looking for my support and resistance zones, this is how my charts is going to look. So before I take a trade, before I add any indicators, the first thing I'm going to do is find my support and resistance. And this is exactly how I'm going to find it. So now, don't get me wrong. You can drop down to the 1 hour, which I do every now and again, to find my smaller support and resistance zones. And I would label those random lines, right? Random line. So if I had to find a random line here, let's go to the because there's support and resistance on all time frames, right? From the monthly all the way down to the 1 minute, there's support and resistance. But like I said, the higher the time frame, the stronger the analysis. So you may be able to find a support or resistance on a 15-minute chart, but this 15-minute chart is trying to get to the 1 hour or the 4-hour support or resistance. So it's always important that you analyze from the top down, but also be aware of where price could react from. This is why I like to find support and resistance on my 1 hour as well, and I would just label those random lines. So here, there is a lot of support going on in this area. Here, look how many touches that price touched in this area before price started to before price started to find some real direction. Price bounced in this area quite a few times. So let's find the nearest quarter point as well, just to get in the median of all of this price action. And I'll pick the 75, 1.92675, and I will label this random line, which is also yellow, letting me know this is just a slowdown area. That's all. But this is how I find my support and resistance on every chart that I trade, every pair that I trade. And this is how I find it each and every time. So before I add on any indicators, I look for my support and resistance first. So I hope this video helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to leave it in the comment section below. Like I said, this is how I find my support or resistance on every chart that I trade. And I also do this every week. You want to update your charts at least weekly. That way you don't have to keep moving your lines throughout the week. So again, it's your boy, Don't Play Trent. I'm not going to be checking out. Please let me know if this video added any value to you guys. Please hit that like button. If you guys want to continue seeing content, please engage with me. Give me some motivation to keep dropping videos. Also, do not forget to hit that subscribe button because there's a lot more where this came from. So until next time, it's your man, Don't Play Trent. Checking out. I will see you guys on the next video.